Spirit is so creepy. So
It's fine.
kind of goes with this, but I literally just wrote this down, and it's something like, you know, Lynn's does with the whole put your affirmations in the chat and everything. You don't have to put it in the chat if you don't want to, but I want you to think why you hit that promoter option. Like, I want you to think, if you want to type in the chat, you can, if you want to write it down on a piece of paper, and I want you to be honest. Like, did you hit the promoter option because you thought it was going to be a fast paycheck? Like, you need to make some quick money, and that's what you thought it was going to be. I mean, be honest with yourself why you hit that promoter option. And then I want you to think or write down, what are you fighting for now? Like, what does it mean for you now? How long you've been here, whether it's 3 months, 6 months, a year, 3 years, 5 years, whatever, however long you've been here, from why you hit that promoter option, whether it was for a fast paycheck because you needed some quick cash, you know, you had to buy diapers, whatever, or to what you're fighting for now, today, why you're still here. Because I called this, and I'm looking at the notes on my phone, because y'all know I have ADD and I have to stay on track. I want you to fail. I want you to be a failure, because if you're not failing, you're not trying. Yes, Amber, that's perfect. That's perfect. It's turned into a bigger purpose for whoever just wrote that it started off something different. Now it's just a bigger purpose for you. Yes. Because I personally, and I'll go ahead and share mine, I hit that promoter option because I didn't know what this even was. I didn't even know what all of this was. I just knew from what I had seen from Amber's page and stuff, and from what she was talking to me in the messages about, was something different. Something where I didn't have to work 40 hours a week and I could stay home, and that would be like so detrimental, or so good, I should say, so good for my mental, because of everything. I was literally fresh out of depression when I hit that promoter option. So I was looking for not something easy necessarily, but a way for me to provide for my family where I didn't have to go people that day. I know this is a people's business, but when you're in customer service, it's completely different. So I hit it to be for something different. And I've been here for 1.5 years now, almost 2 years. Oh my gosh, Amber, it's almost been 2 years. And it's become so much more than that. It's become that bigger purpose for me. And it doesn't matter right now if you are a rank, if you are a brand leader, if you're getting a $50 commission check, if you're getting a $500 commission check, if you're just getting your products for free, you're already succeeding. That's your success. And it's only going to grow from there. I know, I try. I have. I am very proud of myself too. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. I was talking to my therapist today. I am extremely proud of how far I have come as far as the growth goes. And my business is just going to grow with that. And I want it to grow with you guys. So yes, I want you to fail. And because failing means that you're trying. Failing means that you're putting in actual effort. Failing means that you're finding ways that it won't work. It really is. Finding ways that it won't work, which will lead you to a way that it will. How many different paths do people try to take to climb Everest until they find a good one to get to their highest peak? You have to find the right path, the right way for you. Like, we're all running our own businesses, but we all have different schedules. We all have different times of the day that we can work our business. We all have kids of different ages who are in different grades of school. We all have part-time jobs. We all do our things, but you have to find the way that works for you, because the way that Katie runs her business doesn't work for me. The way that Amber runs her business isn't going to work for Harriet, but we're all here for each other, to grow from each other. And one of the things, and I'm guilty of this sometimes too, everyone is so obsessed with success and winning and the big house and the Lamborghinis, not the best car in the world, just saying, and the shiny things, and, you know, all of the jewelry and all of the, you know, ranks and the bonuses, and they see all the perks, and that's what they're obsessed with. But those things are never going to happen without failing. You're not going to get the shiny stuff without crawling through the dirt. It's not going to happen. Where do you think diamonds come from? You have to find how many ways a thing won't work and continue to show up for it and put in effort until you find the way that it does work for you. So I want you to fail. And I want you to repeatedly fail until you find that way, because once you find that way, you're going to blow up. You're going to fly when everybody said that your dream was stupid. You're going to fly when everybody told you your dream was stupid. When everybody told me I was never going to amount to anything. I'm a leader in a freaking multi-million-dollar company. I'm a leader in a multi-million-dollar company. And I actually have friends and a tribe and you know, leadership and growth, and I'm back in church. And when people told me I was never going to amount to anything, I was just going to be a 40-year-old cashier for the rest of my life. Look where I am now. I'm not where I was, and they still are. So when people tell you your dream is stupid, you're going to fly while they're still walking somewhere, while they're still grounded. So I want you to fail, because to fail is to succeed, unless you give up, unless you quit. The only time that failure is final, the only time that you lose is when you quit. Katie is a perfect example for that. She lost her rank for 18 flipping months. 18 months. Like, she's stronger than I am, because I honestly don't know. I don't know. I'm in a better mindset now, but if I lost my rank for 18 months, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, how strong are we that if we were to lose our rank for 18 months, go back in debt, how defeated would we feel? Would we be able to stick around? She did. And she's proof. Like, and I talk about it all the time. Our ranks are not going anywhere. You can hit them and fall off of them, and it's completely 100% okay. Just get back and start climbing the ladder again. Just climb the ladder again, because the ranks are not going to go anywhere. So it's not a race. It's not a competition. The ranks are for everybody, and you can lose them and you can get them back. It's not like I lose my house keys and can never find them. And I had mentioned, I think the last time, about that Olympic track runner that tripped on that last lap just to get up and come in first place. And I think she took gold for her country. She wanted it. How bad do you want it? How bad do you want your car on auto pay? What would that do for your family? Right? It's not about necessarily the auto pay, right? It's not about that extra. It's about, I worked for this. I showed up for this. I earned this. My husband can take a day off of work without stressing about rent. She wanted it. And something that I listen to a lot of podcasts, and something that a lot of them say is how the game is won in the last quarter. And I don't pay attention to games until the final inning or the last quarter when I do watch them, because I learned that up until then, it's anybody's game. The final stretch is where the winners show up. I personally had a promoter enrolled, and she hit her 400 VIP in the last hour of the last day that she was able to earn it. And I was shaking and I was crying, and she was excited, and it was a thing, but she wanted it so bad. And then she was able to have a Christmas for her kids. The winners show up in the last stretch. And success and winning means something different to everybody. Means something different to everybody. For a lot of people, it's just the growth in the community. And that's the success that we need, because we isolated ourselves for so long that now we're finally coming out of that a little bit, and we have that community and we have that growth that we have. And for me, that's success. So I'm successful, and I can truthfully say that, whether I've hit a rank or not, right? Success is different for everybody. But the first thing I want you to do is to throw out what society calls success, what Hollywood calls success, because they don't want what you want. They don't pay your bills. They don't share the same gifts and talents that you have. They don't have the same goals or dreams that you have. So throw their opinions out, because they're irrelevant. I have a neighbor who doesn't like that I'm in sales. She literally said to me, I couldn't sell stuff to people that couldn't afford it. But she has no idea what we do. She's throwing her opinion, and she's throwing her 2 cents, and she's throwing her judgments without even knowing any of the things. And they're going to judge you. They're going to judge you for what you do. They're going to judge you every time you fail. They're going to look down on you when they don't even know half of what you have overcome to get as far as you have already. They don't know half of what you've overcome in the business and life to get to where you are right now. And not just in the business, but in life. They don't know what you've overcome. They don't know half of it. They only see what you let them see when they drive past your house, right? Their opinion doesn't matter. You know what you need to do. You know what you need to do to get it done, but you're going to fail in the first quarter. You're going to fail in the second quarter. You're going to fail in the third quarter, but you're going to find a way that's going to work for you. But you have to try a bunch of different ways before you do. I had to try the gummies. I had to try the buy one, get ones. I had to try the GNC health stuff. I had to try the grocery store protein shakes, the stacker pills, the 5-hour energies before I get a sticker in the mail. That changed the game. And I literally was about to give up. I was trying all of these things. This stuff is supposed to be good for you. Some of it was hurting me because it had magnesium in it, and that triggers migraines for me. So I'm like, well, this stuff's not good for me at all, and it's not going to work. And I'm at my wit's end, and I'm just going to quit. And I get a sticker in my mailbox. And I tried one more thing. You have to try one more thing. You have to try one more way for it to work for you. I tried job after job after. I was a job hopper. From the age of 16, I was a job hopper. I always felt like I didn't fit anywhere. It was the same with school. My parents switched me schools every other year, every 2 years. I didn't fit there either. I never felt like I fit anywhere. I always felt like I was supposed to be doing more. Like I was supposed to be doing something else. Like I'm supposed to be helping people, but I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing. So I just kept job hopping until I found something that fit. I had to fail at products. I had to fail at jobs and even things in life before I found where I am supposed to be. Am I where I want to be at yet? No. But there's just a feeling, a vibe, an energy, an aura, whatever you want to call it. I know I am exactly where I am supposed to be right now. I have to let go of all of those things I failed at. Use them as lessons, use them as stepping stones, put them on my ladder, and use them that way to climb up. But you can't keep focusing on what you didn't accomplish yesterday. You can't keep focusing on what you failed at. Yes, you should fail, but you don't focus on it. You have to get up like that track runner and go get the gold for your country. I want you to fail because that means you're refusing to give up no matter how hard it gets, no matter how frustrating, no matter how defeated. I'm doing all of the things and nothing's working. Show up tomorrow. Show up tomorrow. Try something different. Look up a different training video and see if that doesn't give you inspiration. Have a one-on-one with a side sister, an upline, whatever. If this is what you want, if this is where you feel like you are supposed to be at, you have to find a way to make it work. Because it doesn't matter how repetitive you feel sometimes, you have to fail until you truly want to succeed. And there's so many different ways you can share your story. I went through a depression. I talk about going through a depression all of the time, but I break it up as to how I went through it and how God brought me through it and what I'm doing. Didn't happen overnight. You're not going to overcome addiction overnight. You're not going to overcome depression overnight. You're not going to overcome the things overnight. So why would you expect to succeed overnight at anything that you do? You have to fail. So whether you first started this just because you needed that quick paycheck so you could get diapers, why are you still here? And remember why you're still here. And if you have to write it down in big, bold print and put it where you're going to see it every single day, I'm here for a bigger purpose. Okay, now break that down. What is the bigger purpose for you? Because for me personally, it's to help other people feel alive in their lives because I know what it feels like to feel dead. And I know what it feels like to be drained spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, and then to get a jump start, if you will, back to living my life. That's what I want to do for other people. And then I'm going to hit the ranks along the way. So you have to fail first. That's it.
All right, I'm going to unmute myself. So I will just kind of end this out real quick. You got me thinking a little bit when you're talking about failures and you're talking about working towards goals. And I want to ask you guys, if you'll drop it in the chat, name a time in your life where you actually worked for something, like you actually worked really, really hard and you made it happen. Like you accomplished it and it felt really, really good because you actually put in the work and it meant something to you and you finally were able to check it off. I'll give you an example. Example for me would be when I was 15, almost 15 years old. I was already looking at cars, right? I wanted to be able to drive whenever I turned 16 or whenever I got my learner's permit. And I was like, this is the car that I want. My mom politely laughed at me and she said, haha, honey, if you think you're getting a car when you're 16, you best be getting a job when you're 15 so you can pay for it because I'm not going to pay for it. And I was just like, okay. And that's what got me into my first job. When I was 15 years old, I became a lifeguard. And that work ethic started like way before. It started as an athlete since like age 6. I was a gymnast. It started in me preparing for that job and me doing the swim test and failing at the swim test to be a lifeguard. I literally went into the test saying, oh, like no big deal. I just got to swim 1,000 meters. Didn't even know how long 1,000 meters was until I actually calculated it out. And I go in to take the test and he's like, sorry, honey, you failed. Like, you got to keep practicing. And I'm like, oh, seriously? He's like, yeah, you're going to have to come back. And so I kept practicing and I kept practicing. And eventually I became a lifeguard. But that's where it kind of started for me. And then the next thing was me finally getting that car. It was me purchasing with $2,800 in cash. I remember it was a white 1981, I think, Jeep Cherokee. It had leather seats. Like I thought I was just like hot snot in that car and everything. But I remember paying cash for it and it overheated all the time and it didn't even last me a year. But still, that 1 year that I drove that car, it was just like pure bliss because I had worked for it. I had put in the hours. I had done my due diligence to come up with that money and save that money and not spend that money. And I paid for cash in it. And so me driving around in that car was everything to me because it actually mattered because it was something that I worked towards. And I'll kind of flip that on you a little bit. I haven't talked about it yet, but it will end up being a live video for me. I need to research it a little bit, but my mom called me today and I want to flip something on you because like I said, that started my process of working towards things. Then I go to college and I earn my degree and I work hard in college and I graduate with honors. And like everything after that, I put a lot of effort into. If it's something that I want, I put my effort in, I make it happen, right? And as you guys know, I've been a nurse for 10 years. I'm still paying my student loans. And my mom calls me today and she just spent like all day Saturday with me. And I was a little bit like, whew, I need like a breather. And she wanted to know what my schedule was today because she was coming in town for a doctor's appointment. I was like, I just don't do like good with like last minute things. But anyways, I was like, well, we can figure something out, right? And she goes, so I can tell I'm stressing you out. So I was like, you're not stressing me out. I'm sorry for like making you feel that way. You're not stressing me out. But she's like, I really want to tell you something. I got something I want to talk to you about. And I'm like, oh, great. Like, what did I do? Right. And she's like, no, it's not bad. I just want to see your face whenever I tell you this. And I'm like, Mama, what's going on? And she's like, well, just FaceTime me. So she's like, okay, we'll FaceTime. And I turn around in the car and FaceTime her and she goes, well, we got this letter in the mail and it basically says on here, it's from my student loans. And it basically says that at the end of August, they're going to be forgiving my student loans. And I looked at her and I was kind of like, I don't believe that. Like, I'm going to need to see that letter because I think that's just like somebody blowing smoke up somebody's butt, I was like, I'm gonna need to see that letter. And she goes, no problem. That's why I wanted to come by today, because I wanted to be able to give that letter to you so that you have it as your records. And she looked at me, and it took me a few hours to process this. I didn't actually process it until we were coming home from dinner. And she looked at me and she goes, I just thought you would be happy about that. And I was like, I'm not saying I'm not happy about it, Mama. First of all, we don't even know if it's true. If it is true, great, great. But it's just, I don't know, right? And I kind of left the conversation with her that way. A couple hours go by and I started thinking to myself, I'm like, why am I feeling this way? Why am I not like elated that somebody is going to like forgive my student loans, right? I don't have a lot left on it. It's under $5,000, but still it's under $5,000 that I would have to pay off. That's kind of a lot of money, right? But I was like, why am I feeling this way? Why am I feeling this way? Amber, are you just being like a little spoiled brat? And I'm like, no. I'm like, you know what it is? It's my work ethic. It's because if that gets paid off by somebody else, that robs me of being proud of of having accomplished something that I've worked a decade for. Does that make sense? And so the feeling is going to be totally different because I had already prepared myself for the vision of the one day that I get to pay off my student loans, that I worked hard for, that I put in the effort in this business, in every paycheck, in making it count for me and making a difference and putting it towards my debt and my student loans and my credit cards and everything. And if somebody else just comes in, haha, government, and pays off the student loans, then I feel like I've been robbed of being proud of something. And that is why I was kind of like flat-faced to my mom this evening. I didn't even understand it. I just thought I was being super selfish. Like I felt like I was like being a brat or something. And she was like, I thought you would be happy. Why wouldn't you be happy about this? And so I need to touch base with her again and be like, this is what I'm feeling, but there's nothing like it. There's nothing like working towards something and finally accomplishing that 4K, or finally accomplishing that 12K, or finally saying, you know, maybe you tell yourself like, I'm going to lose these 10 pounds. I'm going to drink my water. I'm going to eat right. I'm going to move my body more than I've ever moved my body before. And I'll tell you, last year, February, March, right before COVID hit, I was in the best shape I've ever been in my life. I literally on my pictures had like a little six pack and I felt so good. I was religious with my products. I was religious with my workouts. I was religious with my diet, not diet, but like watching what I'm eating and not eating after 7 p.m. and making sure that I'm getting enough water in and taking care of my body and stretching. And I still made time for my business and I still made time for my family, but I was in the best shape I've ever been. But I worked hard for that. I worked hard for that. And so I can't sit here and say it's overnight balance, right? I can't sit here and say it's balance and biotic that made me look this way. No, it's hard work that made me look this way. It's discipline in my mind to keep me from eating crap in the pantry that made me look this way. And so when you're reaching towards a goal, whether it be weight loss, whether it be being more religious with your products and your health, because hey, we work for a health and wellness industry, okay? We work for a health and wellness company, in case you didn't know. Maybe that's what you need. Maybe you need to set a goal in mind, whether it be 4K, whatever K you're going after, and actually visualize what it's going to feel like when you accomplish it. What is it going to feel like? Because I'll tell you, you have to know what that rank is going to do for you. You have to know like an average, like ballpark figure of what that income looks like and how that's going to impact your life. Is that going to be your rent payment? Is that going to be you tucking away $300 a month to be able to put towards your savings account? Is that going to cover your light bill? Is that going to cover your mortgage? What is that going to cover for you? How are you going to make that money count for you? And what is it going to feel like? Is it going to feel like you can go to Home Goods with your kids and just like have a day where you're just browsing, you're like, oh, I want to pick this up It feels good to buy things around the holidays. Like that's just something that I love. I love to go in the stores and I love to buy like decor and I love to buy like candles and stuff like that. It's super silly, but I like it. That makes me feel good. But like for the longest time, I couldn't do that kind of thing. For the longest time, I couldn't fill up my gas tank. What's it going to feel like when you don't have to think about the last time that you had to like clench your butt cheeks when you were filling up your gas tank, or the last time you had to stop it at $15, at $20? I couldn't tell you how many times I told Sean, it's sandwiches and smoothies this week, babe. It's sandwiches and smoothies this week. So many weeks went by because we couldn't afford the groceries that we actually wanted, because instead we had to pay a bill, and we were still behind on our bills. But we were behind on our bills and we were behind on our dreams at the same time. And so when you think about putting a goal in place, I want you to start thinking about what it's going to feel like to check it off. Is it going to mean that you no longer have to go in the grocery store and question the amount of money that you're putting into your cart? Is it going to mean that freedom that you can just hand your kid $20, say, here, this is for your gas tank? Is it going to be that freedom where you can go and take your husband out on a date night? Is it going to be the freedom for you to be able to, I don't know, what does that mean for you? You have to start thinking about that, but you have to start thinking about it every day. Every day. Because I can't tell you for the longest time, I can't tell you how long I've envisioned what it's going to feel like to pay off my student loans. And I was ready to take on that accomplishment. I was ready to take credit for it because I've been working for it. So there may not be anything I can do about somebody robbing me of feeling proud of it. I will just put that ambition towards my next goal. But you have to not only set your goals, but you have to live your goals. You have to breathe your goals. You have to wake up every single day. And I'm not saying like fake it till you make it, but you have to faith it till you make it. I've said that before. You have to have faith that you will get there. You have to have faith that you are in the right industry to be able to turn your life around. You have to have faith that you are a part of a leadership team that nobody else has in network marketing, right? I don't see anybody else leading with faith. I see people leading with copy paste messages. I see people leading with me, I need, I want. Can you do me a favor? Right? That kind of stuff is what we see every single day. I have X amount of spots left. I see a bunch of people who are operating on some other team besides Team Human, but we are the ones that are on Team Human. And we love hard on this team. We love our potentials. And they feel that. But you also have to talk about your goals with passion. You have to talk about what it's going to feel like when you do come home to your babies, what it's going to feel like when you are off government assistance, what it's going to feel like to be able to stand tall as a single mama and say, I've got this for my babies, right? What's it going to feel like when you have a 5-figure savings account and you don't have to worry about what if the car breaks down? What if somebody breaks a leg and we're in the hospital and we have an emergency room visit? What is it going to feel like? Start talking about that on your stories. I talk about what it's going to feel like when I can walk away from the hospital, when I can bump down to part-time, when I can have more time with my babies and make more memories with my kids. That's what it's about. And so dig a little bit deeper into why you're here. What goal are you pushing for right now? Because your goals will change. What goal are you pushing towards right now? And be unapologetically ambitious in achieving that goal and take full responsibility. Take full responsibility if you don't get there, if you fail along the way, if people tell you no, if people tell you you're crazy. Take full responsibility for not letting that get to you, and take full responsibility for the win that you're about to claim. That's all I'm just kind of say for the night. And we're going to wrap it up with that. But we are going to be ending out, what's today? 23rd. So at the end of this week, stay tuned because we're going to have something for you as we start September. But before this week ends, because next week, Tuesday is the 31st, if I'm right. Yes, next week, Tuesday. So we have a whole nother week left in this month. Do not give up on your goals. Do not give up on your dreams. If you have 4K on your vision board, you still have a week. You still have a whole week. And a lot can happen in a week. Remember when I went 4K? I woke up to a tracker that said 1300 in volume. I decided it was going to happen and I made it happen. I got really bold in my follow-ups. I got really bold in my posts. I got really bold in reaching out to the people who had not ordered yet, or the people who had said they wanted to order, but they haven't for some reason, or months and months ago told me they were interested in the business, but they just haven't said anything else. Or maybe I've just not gotten my groove in the follow-up. I started with follow-ups. And at the end of the night, we were 4K. So you can't tell me it can't be done. It's hard. It's uncomfortable, but it can be done. It can be done. And so don't sit here and say, well, we only have 7 days left in the month and my volume's not even 1,000 yet. Like, get out of here with that, sis. Get out of here with that, sis. Because the moment you start telling yourself that, the moment you start showing up in that way on your stories and in your posts, and that's when you completely pump the brakes on your momentum and people kind of look at you and they're like, she don't really want it. She didn't really mean what she said last week, what she said 2 weeks ago, what she said a month ago when she said that this mattered to her, when she said that this is something that she wanted to do for her and for her babies and for her family. It must not mean that much to her. That's what they see. What they don't see is that maybe you're just like in your head. Maybe you're just like worried about what everybody else is going to think about you. And so you keep yourself from your posts, from your live videos, from doing a work with me, from stepping up into that next level that you need to be. But do not pump the brakes. Do not give up on yourself. Do not give up on your babies with one whole week left in the game. Just like Karen said. Right? The game can be won in the last quarter. But stay tuned because we got something that we're going to do with you guys as we head into September. But as you go through this week, no, don't pump the brakes. But I want you to start being forward focused. I want you to start thinking about September. How do you want to make September different? How do you want to show up differently? How do you want to maybe change things up a little bit? Maybe you want to start incorporating some things that you can teach your audience. Maybe you want to start incorporating your faith a little bit more and leading them in that way. Whatever that little niche is for you, how can you incorporate that and like double down on your strengths a little bit more in September? Right? For me, it's like, I need to get back to posting my workouts. I need to get back to the person I was a year ago when I was in my best health I've ever been. I need to get back to that woman. I need to get back to the woman that I was March of this year when I showed up a little bit differently and I was a little bit more confident and I had a little bit more faith, right? That is where you need to start putting those little pieces together as you're putting together your September and you start thinking about, okay, what am I going to do differently in September? We've got to do things different. So don't give up on yourself this week, but start thinking about what we're going to do differently next month. So we'll end it there. Karen, do you have anything else you want to add?
Just that I didn't watch all of it because I had some stuff going on at the house, but I did watch Katie's live a little bit. And when you think you can't finish something, when you think that you can't keep going, when you think that it's not working, she lost her rank and went back in debt for 18 months. That's over a year. Over a year, she went back in debt. She lost her rank, everything that she worked for, and it fell off. And she just put a down payment on her dream home for her family. It can be done. We see leaders doing this every single day. We see leaders showing up and getting their badges and earning their VIP bonuses and earning their next rank bonuses and all of the things and earning their free vacations. We see that it can be done. So when everybody's like, I have to see it to believe it, here's the evidence. It's happening. Leaders are achieving this every single day. It's just a matter of time for your time to come. You have to grow through your journey to make it to that point. Their journey's not yours, but it can be done. You just got to keep going.
All right. Love you guys. Bye.